Hey everybody, welcome back to Piece of Chaos. This is an incredible conversation with, I'm honored to have him on here. It was really cool. Kent Steffes joins, and if you don't know who Kent is, he will give you the full rundown in the beginning, so you'll kind of get an overview, but he is an Olympic gold medalist in beach volleyball, and just a really interesting guy, a lot of amazing thoughts around sports, and sports psychology and winning. And we get into that quite a bit. And his book, Kings of Summer. And enjoy my amazing conversation with Kent Steffes.
When I was about 12 to 13 years old, I decided that I was going to be a professional athlete. And so I just wanted to be a basketball player, but also played volleyball. And I grew up, and during the summer, my friends and I would go down and we'd play beach volleyball all summer long. As it turned out, I got really good at beach volleyball, and I got good enough to play on what back then was the Association of Volleyball Players Professional Tour. So there was an entire professional beach volleyball tour in California with some other stops around the country. And then in 1992, 93, the Olympic Committee decided that they were going to put beach volleyball in the Olympics. Okay, and that was big news for our sport. It's always big news when a sport, which isn't in the Olympics, gets in the Olympics. Right. So they were planning on having the inaugural beach volleyball Olympics in 1996 in Atlanta. So we were all excited. We were all shooting for it. Well, as part of my career, I became the number one player in the world. I was also the winningest player of all time. I was also the youngest number one in the history of the world and have numerous records in the sport of beach volleyball. But I think the highlight of my career was that I went to the Olympics and won the gold medal, the first gold medal in Olympics, and with Karch Karai in 1996. There was a very, very famous quarterfinal match in those games against Karch and myself, played a team called St. John Smith and Carl Hinkle. And it's considered by many to be the match of the century because the two players, St. John and Karch, were best friends growing up. You know, they hung out, best friends, went together, traveled together, played together. And they became mortal enemies and hated each other and got into big, mean fights and called each other mean, nasty names. And so we ended up playing them in the quarterfinal match, and they almost beat us. It was tight. And it was broadcast across the world. You know, Olympics is a huge event. If you've never been an Olympian, you never played in Olympics, I have, and let me tell you, it is a gigantic event compared to what I normally played in. So from there, the tour exploded internationally, and now it's played, all around the world. It's actually the second largest sport in the world, volleyball, indoor and beach, after soccer. Really? Surprisingly. I mean, because America, they don't have football and baseball and hockey in most of the world, right? So, other sports kind of take that niche. Wow. And it's also one of the top. It's one of the top 4 or 5 most watched sports in the Olympics. Beach volleyball. Right, you got your gymnastics. You get your 100-meter dash, and beach volleyball is one of the most popular sports in the Olympics. Yeah. Right. So my career ended in about 1999, and I went to business school. And I went to Stanford Business School, and I got my MBA. And I went off and did investment banking and private equity and sort of put my athletic career behind me. And then I guess why I'm sitting here now with you is you all remember that thing called COVID, right? When they decided to lock everybody down and not let us out. Yeah. No fun. And there was no restaurants open, no bars. You couldn't go to the movie theaters. Even in Los Angeles, they closed the beach down, if you can imagine that. So they wouldn't let you walk on the beach, and they wouldn't let you swim in the ocean by yourself because I guess COVID would eat you if you swam in the ocean. So during that time, I found myself with not a lot to do.
I forgot about that. That was very strange. Like, you couldn't go to the beach.
No. They arrested the guy on his own on a paddleboard out in the water.
God, that's weird.
The COVID shark was going to get him, I guess. Jeez. If the COVID shark got him, like the zombies, they thought it was everywhere. Yeah, we were walking on the beach one time because they said you could go out and exercise, but we couldn't walk. They said, we're not on the beach. And we're like, we're on the bike path. Yeah. Well, that's the beach, and you got to go. Okay, whatever. So I'm not here to fight it or say anything about it. I just started. Jeez. Yeah. Well, I started writing because normally, I'm an active guy. I ski. There's no skiing. Yeah. Couldn't go on the beach, a bike path. Couldn't go in the water. Couldn't go to a restaurant. Couldn't go to a bar. Couldn't watch sports on TV. There were no sports on TV. They could shut it down for a while. Yeah. Yeah. Canceled. So I found myself with I worked the markets during the week, and I found myself on the weekend with nothing to do. So I started writing. I started writing on a whole host of topics, but mostly around my experience in sport. And what I think I tell people is that it's always good to get somebody who's playing now, their perspective.
Yeah.
But if you were to ask me when I was a player, when I was a kid, what I was doing, I wouldn't be able to articulate it like I can now that I'm older. So in my opinion, it takes time and reflection and study. So I've studied sports since I've left as a hobby. As a hobby, I read books on athletes. I read books on coaches. I read books on techniques of things like that. And I believe I have a better sort of understanding of what I went through, what my experiences was, what I actually did that I couldn't have actually communicated if you would have asked me while I was the #1 beach volleyball player and Olympian.
Yeah.
So I started posting my writings on Facebook, basically, and other social media, and I was getting a really, really good feedback. People were liking it, asking me questions, and kept asking me to write more.
Yeah.
So a fellow named Travis Mawerder, who is a journalism major, he's a kid from Maryland who came out to California to become a beach volleyball player and a writer. So he's one of the premier journalism's writers of beach volleyball. So he writes for Volleyball Magazine, he writes for FIVB, he writes for the international stuff, and he has the #1 podcast in volleyball, Sandcast, which he hosts with Tri Bourne, who's the #1 American player. And so he's sort of carved out a niche as a writer and a person who communicates what's going on in the volleyball world. He's also a player, which gives him a really unique perspective, right? Because rarely do you have a professional who's also a writer.
Yeah.
So imagine if the #1 writer for the NBA was also kind of an NBA player.
Right.
That would be kind of fun and unique. And he's a good writer, and he's a decent volleyball player. So he approached me because he was actually thinking about writing a book on this time period. And I'll talk about the book in a second, what the book is. It's called The Kings of Summer, The Rise of Beach Volleyball. And it's available on Amazon.com, so great Christmas gift. But it documents how this sport, which was basically a recreational activity in Southern California, blew up to become one of the most popular sports worldwide in the Olympic Games today.
Yeah.
And it traces the people and the controversies and the actions and what happened to get us from this. All right, so let me explain it to you. Like the local cities and communities would put on beach volleyball tournaments, just like they do 10Ks or they have a basketball league or something like that. Well, these volleyball tournaments that have on the beach, what they were finding was fans were coming down. All right, so fans are actually coming to watch what is in essence an amateur recreational activity. I mean, thousands of fans. Because these players became well known, like who's the best beach volleyball player in Southern California or in California. So they'd travel to different beaches during the summer, and all of a sudden a sponsor came and said, "Hey, if we give you 5,000 T-shirts, we'll give you 10 grand.
Yeah.
If you pass them out at the tournament.
Yeah.
If you put our banner, on your and now there's money in the sport. It became a professional sport. So the book sort of shows that growth from what happened. And then, of course, whenever there's money involved, things get complicated and everyone starts fighting. And people call themselves really mean names, like nasty names. And we write all that in the book. So Travis had been wanting to write a book about this sort of activity, and he wanted to use it as a pivot. It's a really interesting literary device. He tells the story through that single match I told you about, or we tell the story, through that single quarterfinal match.
Yeah.
So, and it weaves the story of the history of the sport in and out of this single match, which is a really interesting, unique literary pivot that he planted on that book. So he called me and asked me, all right, so a little more background on it. I could talk for hours. How long we got on this podcast to a 3-hour one, huh? Anyway, so what happened in the 90s when I played beach volleyball, it has never been that large in the United States, okay, ever. And actually, it's not as big internationally as it used to be like 15 years ago either. Right. So back in the, when we went live on NBC, they televised our tournaments. I'm going to give you something which is going to shock you and anybody who hears this. There were more people watching beach volleyball than golf, tennis, and baseball combined. You take those three sports and you combine them, more people were watching us play beach volleyball in the 90s. It was weird, unique, awesome. The Southern California, the California lifestyle, we called it, just a traveling circus, the traveling party. We're bringing the party to your town. Everybody's having a good time. Sun, sand, bikinis, guys, girls. Yeehaw. Okay. And it was a big thing at the time. So there's always this nostalgia for what happened at beach volleyball in the 90s. There's kind of this nostalgia for what's going on back then. And so people hit me up. They always hit me up. I'm 54 now. I stopped playing when I was 30. Every year. I got a book. I got a Netflix series. I got a documentary. I want to do whatever. Yeah. And when I was young, I took the meeting and I realized they were going nowhere.
Right.
All right. It's not that easy to do a documentary.
Yeah.
It's not, hey, like Drive to Survive. Well, we're going to do something like that. So I started, then I would say to them, well, look, I'll be your last interview, right? I'll be your last interview. Just if you complete the project, come to me, knowing full well.
Yeah.
And I just stopped actually responding to them because nothing ever happened. But this guy, Travis McWhorter, actually brought a treatise together. He says, look, I got it all, and I'm ready to interview you last for this book.
That's great.
Okay? So I had him over to my house for dinner. We had St. John and Patty, who St. John was the number one guy before me. Then I took it over for him. And they came over to the house, and I had Travis interview us, and he was there to like sort of back up some of the stuff. And after he left that sort of last interview, he called me back, and he was like, look, do you mind if I borrow some of the things that you wrote? I said, sure, no problem. So he took some of the things I wrote and integrated into this book. And then he called me back and he goes, look, like you're kind of already written a lot of it because I use your stuff. And he goes, there's just something I don't have. I want you to actually co-write it with me.
Yeah.
Will you co-write it with me? We'll go over it. And I said, look, because I go, you got some good stories, but you want to have true stories.
Right.
All right. And he'll tell you this now if you interview him. He's like, I could interview people. I could read, the stories of the time, the newspaper articles, but he's like, I wasn't there.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so I was there, right? I was there, and I can give him. I had that perspective of somebody who was there.
Yeah.
Right. And this is something we say in the book, which I thought was really super awesome. It's super cool is because we went back and re-interviewed everybody. All right, he and I, because I can talk to him. I can be like, that's not what happened.
Right.
Like, what happened?
Right.
Like, I know you made that up because now you want to make stuff up. What really happened? Yeah. And so what we did is we knew the truth when we found it. Right. So we knew the truth when we found it, and it's all about people's perspectives. Right. Mm-hmm. And what happens is everyone has a perspective. Then they tell a story, and then they throw bullshit on. So normally, what you read is the BS, the bullshit.
Yeah.
They don't even give you the story, much less their own personal perspective of how they viewed it, which we found far more interesting. We found the readers find more interesting because it gets to the core of what happens. Not that everybody agrees, and not that everybody had the same experience, but when you start putting these different perspectives together, it creates just a really awesome story of what went on. And so I wrote a book with Travis, and now I'm a published author, as well as the other things that I do.
That's awesome.
So I've continued writing. I've been writing a lot more on what's called winning, or the winning mindset. I think I mentioned this early. I like to focus on two things. One is winning at the elite professional and Olympic gold medal level. It's like literally those championships and championship moments. I'm like a PhD fascinated student of that portion of athletics and competition. And the second thing I like are training youth athletes, specifically youth athletes that want to become professional athletes or Olympic gold medalists. Yeah. Okay. So in the first, when we're talking about competition at the elite level, we're talking the really high top of the pyramid, right? And when I started writing about it, I didn't think anybody would be interested because it's dealing with a handful of people in each sport, right? Because when you look at sports, they're at the highest levels, they're very competitive, but by a smaller group of athletes than you would imagine. Okay, there's something that takes an athlete that's here and puts them into that championship, and I call it the championship moment with the championship mindset, with the winning mindset. And there's a difference, right? So there's people that win, and there's people that do not win. And there's a difference between those that win and people that do not win. And that difference is discoverable and knowable. So you can adopt the winning mindset and vault yourself up into these highest rankings. And the first thing I got is a lot of pushback. Well, not everybody wins. I'm like, yeah, I know. That's what I like talking about. Okay. Yeah. And that bled into the stuff with the youth athletes. Right. It's like, well, Ken, shouldn't it be about fun? I'm like, of course, youth sports should be about fun. But how about these kids that want to be pros?
Yeah.
All right, when I was 8 years old, I was sitting on the couch of my home in 1976 watching Bruce Jenner, traveling around the thing of the decathlon, and he's like, he's won the gold medal, but he's going for the world championship, world record. Oh my God, it's the greatest! And I jumped off my couch, I ran to my dad, I said, Dad, I want to be an Olympic gold medalist.
Wow.
He's like, what sport? Right?
Wow.
It's like, what sport? The next day, there was an entire Olympic decathlon training center in my backyard my dad built. He was an engineer.
Yeah.
Including a PVC pipe hurdle to jump over. I had the discus. It was a frisbee. I broke off a broom handle. I threw the javelin. All sorts of stuff.
Wow.
He even dug out a pit in the back. He dug out a pit and threw sand in there for a long jump.
Wow.
That was my family. So anyway, yes, I get it. Youth sports is about fun. Youth sports is about health. But I want to talk to this small group of kids that want to be, winners and champions and want to be, professional athletes. And there's a difference between kids that want to be professional or Olympic level athletes, and there's between those that don't.
Yeah.
And that's fine.
Yeah.
And I never thought. Well, I imagine the pushback I'd get talking about the youth sports angle for sure, because that's just everybody's got an opinion on what should happen there. But I was surprised by the interest in it. I was surprised by the interest.
Yeah, I mean
that more people than have kids that want to become professional athletes are interested in the topic. It seems. How's that? Does that make sense?
Yeah. I would think that would be of interest. Having myself kids that do athletic things, like it's I didn't get to that level near that level. I got to the getting cut in college level of baseball, and I know what I put into it. I know that nobody had to tell me to practice. It was something I really, really wanted to do for sure, but I also did other things. But there were people that's all they did, that liked it as more than me. And you didn't. Not only do you have to not tell them to practice, but they didn't want to do or think about anything else. And they, that progressed to a next level and a next level after that. But it's just, I would think everybody would want to at least have the knowledge, and at least aspire maybe, and at least know to either rule it out for good, kind of, because you don't see the spark or whatever, or you'd imagine having all the will in the world to do it. Doesn't matter as a parent whether you want them to do that or not. It's not going to matter, really. They gotta kind of have to want it, I imagine, in a way that's and maybe they think that's more attainable than, or less attainable than it is, and that's kind of what you're getting at. You don't have to give away all your secrets. I'm just saying,
I'll give them away. I'm not a kid. I'm trying to become a pro, and I'm beyond being a pro. I'll give away the secrets, and here's the point: no one listens. You want to know why I was the number one player in the world and Olympic gold medalist? Because I wanted to win, and they didn't. Let me explain something to you. Not everybody wants to win. Okay, not every kid wants to be a pro. Not right. The coaches are bad. All right. So if you're thinking a coach is going to coach your kid to become a professional, you are wrong. So it is a little bit. The parents can't. The parents want their kids to be. Parents, if you want your kid to be a professional, you are going to have to help. Okay, in the United States. In Europe and other places, it's different, right? They have colleges, and in order to coach kids, you have to go to college and get a degree so you don't screw them up. Yeah. But in America, it is a free country. You are free to screw up every kid you come across as a coach, and they do. They do for reasons that are very, very crystal clear. So again, it's not just easy it's just about the kid and the parents can do nothing about it. The parents, you have to do it. You have to get them the trainers and you have to get them the coach, because the kids can't do it on his own.
Right.
And you got to get the right trainer and the right coach. That's why you see a lot of kids, a lot of professional athletes have parents who are athletes.
Yeah.
It's not because it's genetic; it's because they know how to do it.
Yeah,
right? They know how to cook the soup.
Yeah.
So that's the first thing. The second thing is that it is far easier than you would think. Mm-hmm. Okay, it's really easy as a kid to become a high school athlete, college athlete. It depends on the sport. Then we start to get into some you got to be a certain height to be a professional basketball player. So there's some constraints, but it doesn't. You can be short and be a jockey. So it doesn't matter what your body size is or style. There's a sport for you.
Yeah.
If you want to become elite at something.
Yeah.
And as I said, is now most people would be like, well, Ken, doesn't everybody want to win? And my answer is no, not even close. Okay? There are those that win and those that do not win, and there's a difference. And the first difference is the ones who win want to win.
Yeah.
And those that do not win do not want to win. Now you might sit there and say, well, what do you mean, Ken? Of course, everybody wants to win. No, they do not. Okay, because here it is. Okay, we'll start it with the youth level. All right, when it comes to youth wanting to play sports, become a professional athlete, my first response would be, don't. You don't want to do that. All right. When they say that sports is fun and sports should be about health and exercise, again, I agree, but that's not what it takes to be a professional athlete or an Olympic athlete.
Right.
It's not fun.
Yeah.
All right. It hurts.
Uh-huh.
All right. It challenges you and it makes you feel bad. All right. And so if a kid comes and says, Ken, I want to play on the fun team, that's healthy, I'd be like, go for it.
Yeah.
If another kid says, hey, I want to go on the not fun, hard, it's going to be painful, that's my guy. Yeah. You come talk to me. Yeah. I'll get you to the next level. Yeah. You see, so it's not just a matter of like, I can totally get it. When you get to the professional level, so sports challenges you. All sports they're specifically designed to challenge you in ways that test your humanity. All right? So it tests you on a human level in ways that require you to do things that are against your human nature. Your body will be fighting you. So your body will be sending you anxiety, fear, pain, exhaustion. All right? You have to put those aside, say, I don't care, or detach is what the technical term. There's many terms, and English is bad. English is a bad language to describe these things because English has there's so much emotional content and too many English words. Yeah. So when I say you don't care, it's like I don't care if I die, right? If you want to win in certain sports, you have to get to the point where I don't care if I die.
Yeah, yeah.
And you have literally like you don't, and because you're about to die. Yeah, yeah. All right. Well, do you want to do that? Do you want to win? All right. You want pain so unimaginable, like you can't breathe, or exhaustion so bad, like your body is your body is screaming at you, and you're all right. So, you want to be a nice person. You're not going to be a good baseball player. Yeah. All right. The best baseball players are asses. All right. I'm working with a baseball player. He's really good, and he's one of the best baseball players in the league, and he wants to be better. Yeah. And well, I explained it to him. He's like, the best baseball players are asses. Yeah. Go read the biography. Didn't get along with his teammates. Didn't get along with the front office. Why is that? Right? Certain sports like that test a person's social. Human beings are social animals. A lot of sports, you're the number one guy, and people don't like that. Yeah. They treat you badly, and you feel bad being number one. Right? You want to get back in the pack. Yeah. So it's called fear of social exclusion. We know these things because we're professionals. I'm a professional, and I've studied this. Yeah. All right. So people say everyone wants to win. Okay, you want to be an asshole? You win. Yeah. Like they call you names. They call you cocky. They call you. What's another word for that? Oh God, someone said it to me the other day. I've been called everything. I don't give a shit. Call me whatever you want. I want to win, right? Because it's all like he's cocky. He's got an attitude problem. You listen to it. Listen to it. Listen to it. Look at the documentary about Jordan, the Last Dance. What are they saying about that? Not a nice guy. Yeah. Phil Jackson had to work with him a lot to get him to go to move that into where he could win. Yeah. So. I mean, if you're going to go into a UFC match, the chances of you being permanently damaged are high. Mm-hmm. You want to win? You could be permanently damaged. Yeah, yeah. Not to mention the fact that as human beings, actually, as all animals, when you compete against another animal in your species, there's a winner and there's a loser, and the loser is damaged. They're actually damaged on a psychological level. They're damaged on a neurological level. Your serotonins drop, your pathways get affected, and permanently. All right. So if you want to engage in a competition with another human being and you lose, you will be lesser of a human being. Most sports are designed to fail you. Right. In baseball, if you fail 7 out of 10 times, you're in the Hall of Fame. Okay, well, that failure damages you, and you have to find a way to reframe that. okay, as a human being, in order to overcome the damages that get caused.
Yeah.
All right, one of them is by taking a baseball bat and beating the crap out of like water bottles in the dugout. Which, when you look at baseball athletes, they do the most funniest things. Right? You know, they charge the mound and they get in these brawls and they just do strange, odd things, and they break bats over their knee, and they just explode sometimes, right?
Yeah.
It's funny. They say, what a big Poppy just goes after the phone, right? The phone in the dugout, just starts wailing on it. You don't see that in other sports. So there's something. The point is, there's something going on in that athlete's brain, right? That they're struggling through, that they need to push through or put aside. All right. So let me give an example of. When I said you got to be a mean person or not a nice guy or not a likable person, well, all right, your brain, I mean, stop me whenever you want and redirect this conversation.
No, this is great
because I can go on forever. Okay, your brain is made up of parts, right? You got the old brain, you got the medium brain, and you got the new brain. All right, the brain that makes us a human being, and that's the frontal cortex, right? The frontal cortex works to stop you from doing things which are basically antisocial. So it slows down how your brain processes, so you don't say things that are inappropriate. You don't do things that are inappropriate. You understand. That's where all the really unique social intelligence comes from. Okay, well, you got to get rid of anything in your brain which slows down processing speeds. Correct or not? All right, you have 0.4 of a seconds to hit a 95-mile-an-hour fastball.
Yeah.
Do you want to be thinking how your conduct might not be appropriate in that situation?
Yeah, time for
right?
that kind
you have
of thing.
to eliminate. So you have to eliminate that part of your brain which slows down your any sort of slowdown in your processing, and that will make you antisocial. Or it doesn't. Or you train your pathways not to work through that part of the social part of your brain.
Yeah.
You seeing where it's not always necessarily that I want to win or I want to be a baseball player or a great baseball player.
Yeah.
All right, you have to become or do certain things which you might not like. There might be damage to you which you will have for a long time, and so it's not just rah.
Yeah.
Okay, and another thing is, all right, so like that's just one small part. All right, and if you can unhook that, detach, push through, not give a shit about what people say or think about you, your processing speed increases 25%. All right, right off the bat. Ready? Be an asshole. 25% faster. They have this down so scientifically, it's not even close. Now, some athletes manage it better. Most athletes manage it by just being quiet, not talking. They do play their sport and they leave. Right? Some guys just want to be. Other people do what's called emotional swapping and emotional ramping. Right, so it's a state change, and some athletes are better at state changes than other. About getting to the state change of being this type of athlete, and then back to the person that's at a church barbecue being normal. All right, you have to change your emotional state and ramp up the correct emotional state, and then you have to ramp down that emotional state, and just swap into a normal emotional state. And some athletes do it better than others. Okay, and when I look at athletes, I don't care. I care about their performance. If you win, it doesn't matter to me what I believe you are as a person. It's like, well, I don't know you. And you hear it all the time in sports. Oh, that guy is this, and that guy is that, and that guy is that. They give labels to them that are reflections of what you think's going on in their mind, and you have not only do you not know, you're wrong.
Yeah.
All right? Because they might be acting like a certain type of thing. Like you said, like, he's cocky. So what?
Yeah.
Like, what? You see how it comes from the person describing him?
Yeah, right.
Like, what do you care if he's cocky?
Yeah.
You don't even know him. He's an athlete.
Yeah.
Like, it's inherent in how they communicate or how they talk about him. Oh, he's not the baseball player. Like his dad told me, he's like, well, he doesn't get along with the people in the front office. I said, who gives a fuck? Does he hit the pill over the wall? Okay. Like, who gives a fuck if he's nice to the fucking secretary on the way into the ballpark? Now, most people are like, well, that's rude. That's not nice. I'm like, I get it, but what are you trying to accomplish?
Yeah.
What are you trying to accomplish? You're trying to win a baseball game. Yeah. Win. Oh, but Kent, he should be also nice. My point is this. No. We're learning more. Maybe not. Okay? That's what we're learning, right? We're learning these things, and we're also learning how to train them.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
We're learning how to train them. So they took Mike Tyson when he was young and started to do, They hypnotized him, and they sent him to a sports psychologist. Here's another one. Most of the sports psychologists out there suck, okay? Because they're psychologists who work with athletes, not sports psychologists.
Right.
Okay? So if you're a parent out there and you want to get a sports psychologist for your kid, here's a perfect way of vetting them. Okay? So sports psychologist comes in and says, I work with sports, I'm a psychologist and I'm a kid. And you go, okay, I want my kid to become a serial killer. How would I train him to do that? Just see what he says. Okay? That's not what they do. They're therapists.
Right.
All right? Now, what they did with Mike Tyson is they laid him on a couch, had him relax, and says, you're an animal. You're going to crush people. Your right hand is going to destroy people. You're going to kill people. Yeah. You're going to maul them. All right? They started putting those thoughts in his brain. Fearless. All right? They were purposely trained him to go in there and beat somebody's head in. Okay? Now, there is some, I'm a little bit critical of sports psychologists. There's some place for them. A lot of them has to do with anxiety and overcoming adversity. Sure. Right? If they're good, they can help with that.
Yeah.
And they shy away from teaching how to kill people properly.
Usually.
Right? How to hurt
Let's
them.
hope so.
Right? How do you generate enough? How does a human being generate enough intensity and emotional energy to want to physically hurt somebody badly, like the MMA guys do? Okay?
Yeah.
They'll eat your head off. Tyson ended up chewing on Evander Holyfield's ear. Remember?
Yeah.
He bit his ear off. Got a little out of hand there.
Yeah, let's say.
But he was the heavyweight champion of the world in 19. I am not saying to do this, people. I'm not saying you should do this. I'm saying the opposite sometimes.
Yeah. That's
so
crazy.
And the more we know, the more we study it, the more we know about it,
Right.
and the more we're learning about it, and the more fascinating it is to me. It's just fascinating.
Yeah.
So, and you can talk about any sport. Like, here's overcoming. Like, here's the problem with overcoming adversity is you can't.
Right.
It sucks. If you care, the only way you can win is if you care. If you care, then the result matters, and there's no getting over it.
Right.
So stop. The answer isn't getting over it. The answer is moving forward. All right, detaching, not giving a shit. Or not that you don't give a crap, but like, you see what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, so.
Yeah. Do you think you're able to set that sort of prefrontal cortex idea dormant while you're an athlete and train it back when you're not an athlete anymore? I mean, obviously that's something you would have had to do if, to follow along. I mean, I don't find you especially off-putting. So you're doing something, you're working on it, like
better than hiding it. Better at hiding it. You have to train to not go through the frontal cortex. Some athletes do it better than others. And look, all right, if you want a really straightforward answer to the question, we can see it in the Navy SEALs, all right, the U.S. Navy SEALs, because they write a lot of books. All right, so the Marine Corps does a good job of changing the brains of human beings into things that do go on. All right, Navy SEALs, they go on what are the missions that they are going to die on, right? So if you want a mission which has got 100% chance that you're going to die, you go get a Navy SEAL. So how do you train a human being to put apart almost everything they know about survival and wanting to live and proceed on the mission? All right, you've done a big job at rewiring that brain of theirs. All right, and the story that's told is the guy who shot Osama bin Laden in Pakistan. I think it was O'Neill, his name was. So he was first in the door, and Osama bin Laden had a wife and a sister, whatever. There's two females in the room. And according to the intelligence, they both had suicide vests that they were going to explode when the Navy SEAL got there. So his job was to grab them, push them against the wall, and take the blast of these two people, right? So the rest of his guys can complete the mission. Anyone want to sign up for that job?
Jesus.
So what we found is that the Navy SEALs have had an incredibly difficult time retransitioning. That was your question, right?
Yeah. Retransitioning
back into the population, right? The suicide rates are up. The alcoholism rates are up. They're having a tough time. And the VAs is working hard on it now. Look, I use that example because that's an extreme form of reorienting a human being.
Even
right? First
SEALs?
of all, selection.
Even SEALs in that scenario? Or are you saying military in general? Or just specifically SEALs?
There's a problem with the SEALs or the Special Forces guys, or at least the Special Forces guys were direct action. All right, so the combat guys.
Yeah.
That's what I've read about.
Okay.
Could be. Look, you got post traumatic stress disorder and a lot of combat vets.
Yeah.
But there seems to be an acute problem with the special operators.
Because one of the things I heard, I don't remember where, might have been Jocko Willink, but this idea that this theory or hypothesis that SEALs who are able to reintegrate appropriately or, reintegrate properly, and maybe this was wrong, have sort of a less of a PTSD situation than, folks on the front lines, things like that, or just, general populations, because they know the mission going in. They're not surprised by violence kind of thing. This idea that, instead of just the guys riding in a Humvee and the one in front of them explodes, like they didn't know that was coming. They knew there was danger, so there's this element of danger, but different than like the one doing the hitting. The one doing the attacking isn't surprised and thus traumatized in the same way. So it was just an interesting, it could be an evolution, because I think when I heard that it was a couple of years ago, but like maybe it's coming around, and then PTSD and soldier suicide is just crazy bad. So that's really interesting. But yeah, so if athletes need to reintegrate, you said you just kind of do a better job of pushing it down. You're used to it now.
No, I don't show it. I won't tell you about it. If you want me to tell you about it, I will. Life's boring. All right. After being an athlete, there's really nothing that's exciting, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Just roll along. Literally, I think about beach volleyball every day. Now I know already it's a dopamine situation, right? So when you're a professional athlete and you're playing in front of tons of people and the crowd's going crazy, the amount of dopamine that is flooding your brain it's unbelievable. You're basically getting what is essence a high, like crack cocaine. You're constantly on crack cocaine, but the good kind, right? Because it's the good chemicals, and there's nothing you can do after life that gets you to that state. Again, when you're an athlete, you don't know. When I told you at the beginning, like I couldn't have articulated this because I didn't know what was going on.
Yeah.
I didn't know that life was really fucking boring and everybody just does boring shit. Like I thought life was fucking great. Like, hey, travel around the world, make a fortune, guys, girls, parties, winning, championship, money, working out, fucking great, looking good, feeling good. Wait, that's not the way the world works?
Yeah.
Like, you got to go to work and the boss sucks, And like, what are you going to do this weekend? I don't know. What are we going to do?
Yeah. So,
right. So, I'll be honest.
When you retired, then was it just you reach a point where you can't be number one anymore, and that's just the reality of the situation, and you decided to go to school. So, yeah, that must have been a huge difference from... Well,
first of all athletes retire before they want to retire.
Couldn't you have played for Stanford at 30?
At 30, yeah, 30. Yeah, it's not like being a lawyer or an engineer or a teacher where you can go for a long time if you like it. Yeah. Like, they stop you. You don't stop them. Yeah. But in my particular case is a little bit different because, I described that. Once I went to the Olympics, it began to be developed internationally. Right. So I would have had to have traveled internationally and probably moved to Europe too. And I'd played a long time, and I had done all that I'd want to accomplish in sport, as well as back then you didn't play that long. We didn't know you could play till you're 40,
right.
In your late 30s. The training modalities are much better than they are now. Again, we know more how to train, how not to train, how to prolong an athlete's career. So back in the day, you pounded yourself into oblivion until your joints wouldn't work, and then you retired. So, I got a lot of knee surgery, elbow, shoulder. All right?
Yeah.
Good to go.
Broken
foot.
What do you think was, something that nobody knows about the Olympics and being in the Olympics?
Well, God, there's so many different ways you could approach that question, but I'll take it, I think, this way, something people don't know about the Olympics, all right? First of all, there's 10,000 athletes, and almost most of them are not going to do anything. They're not even come close to winning. So it's really fun in the Olympic Village, which is only for athletes. So there's a lot of guys and girls who are young, who are in shape, who who are fun, who are energetic, and it is a buzz inside the Olympic Village. They have a nightclub going all 24 hours a day, pumping house music, or at least there was then, Europop.
Yeah.
They got a bar. They got restaurants. There was a Hootie and the Blowfish concert that only athletes got to go to.
Nice.
There's gyms where only the best athletes in the world. You're lifting next to great Olympic athletes. There's the track. I did the track workout where the world's greatest track athletes were. So it's fun to interact with them. It's a fun play. I think what most people wouldn't know about the Olympics, and nobody's ever asked me that question, it's a good one, is how fun the Village is.
Yeah.
Okay? It's fun. Like, everyone focuses on the competition, the gold medal, and that's important.
Yeah.
But remember, not only is there 10,000 athletes, and there's let's call it 800 medal sets, right? So there's 800 gold medals.
Right.
So, some of them have teams. So indoor volleyball has 12. Like, we had 2. So but anyway, there's like 800 medal sets for 10,000 athletes. And some of the athletes, their competition is like 30 seconds.
Yeah.
That's it. I mean,
yeah.
The Olympics is a two week contest, but it includes 40 sports.
Yeah.
So beach volleyball was like 5 days. Indoor volleyball is the entire 2 weeks. Indoor volleyball, basketball, hockey, or that's in the Winter Olympics. They're the entire process. But the 50-meter swimming is 1 day. Like there's a heat, go. It's like it's over. Like the javelin is all done in 2 hours.
Yeah.
So you have an entire 2 weeks. So if you notice, swimming's in the first week, track and field's in the second week. So if you're a track and field athlete, you got to wait a week too.
Yeah.
But
Swimmers
the
party.
Opening ceremonies, like swimmer. Well, dude, we were going to the opening ceremonies,
Watch
right?
out for the javelin guys. They're done. They're done on Monday. The javelin guys, and then they're just
the fencers were on our floor. The ladies fencers, they were done like day 2, and they were just drinking like fish, like partying all week long. Like it was so loud, and they were like, "Guys, we got to play. We're the semifinals. Can you guys come on down and party? We're going nuts." Yeah, so yeah, but we're taking off to go to the opening ceremonies, which is that's usually like Sunday, right? And Monday the competition starts, and there are swimmers that are sitting in the balcony, because the American compound's all the same. They're sitting in the balcony like waving us on, like, "Why can't you come?" Like we 8 a.m. I have my event.
Yeah.
So they don't even get to go to the opening ceremonies, but they're done early. They get to party for the rest of 2 weeks. So there's a great restaurant in the Olympic Village where you can get anything you want. Yeah. There's chefs there ready to make it any way you want it, because volleyballs, we just kind of eat whatever. Everyone eats healthy, but some of those guys eat like I need 15 carbs and 13 pieces of this and I need half of a fish head, whatever it is they want. But on the other side of the commissaries was a fully functioning McDonald's. Okay, fully functioning McDonald's, which had no food. Because the line was out the door with guys who wanted like 6 Big Macs at a time. It's crazy. So as the food came up, it would usually a guy would come with a plate. He'd just have like 8 Big Macs, 6 chicken McNuggets, and he'd bail. Yeah, but late at night, but they had little tiny McDonald's all around the village too. So right at the American compound was like a satellite. And they had the greatest chicken sandwiches. McDonald's isn't known for their chicken sandwiches. I don't think they have they're known for the Big Mac and the fries. But for the Olympic Village, they had a great chicken sandwich. Like really healthy. Yeah, like a breast healthy. It wasn't like a bad one. It was like fried. It was a good chicken sandwich.
They should have capitalized.
If you want to know something, it's intense. It's intense, right? Because you're trying to win. It's a lifelong dream, right? Lifelong dream. A lot of times you get one chance. A lot of times, we were down at 12-8. In the quarterfinals, and we were losing, and I was going to lose my chance that I wanted to be an Olympic gold medalist when I was 8 years old. Life changing, right? So I'm still talking about it today, and it happened 25 years ago.
Yeah.
So that's important too, but it's fun. It's fun. It's a fun tournament.
Yeah.
It's fun. And then you get, again, stop me when you've heard enough. There's a bus system, which is like, goes throughout the city to any venue you want. Every bus has a cop car in front and back and a Marine on it, because they just whisk these things through special lanes. Wow. So you're like, you want to go? It's one of the most. It's an event. It's packed. Well, first of all, you have tickets to any event as you're an athlete, and you have no traffic and get right to the front. Yeah. So you're just like right from the village, right to the arena. You can go to any match, anything you want, good to go. So you don't have to stay in traffic. You don't have to park and walk.
I always love the matching sweatsuits and like the gear. I think that is so cool how they get all that. Like, I used to love getting my uniform when I would join a new team and stuff like that. Like, must be cool. Like, a lot of the athletes on the most recent Olympics were doing a lot of video stuff. Like, the Olympics this last winter was really big with, the athletes showing their gear and, getting everybody involved on TikTok and, like, showing, like, this is my jersey, this is my, like, all that kind of stuff. It was really neat. But I think that aspect of it, just like being, I mean, I'm sure people imagine it's really fun, but like it's interesting when you just focus, like you were saying before, on the perspective. Your perspective was being in the village, not, hey, the Olympics are on, these amazing competitions. Like it's, you're thinking about your match, and then when your matches are done, you're free at a giant party. Like I guess people, I don't know. I don't think that was top of mind for me when I would think about the Olympics. Like, you just hear the Olympic Village, and a very small amount of people in the world have ever actually spent an Olympics there, to be able to like talk about it. When you were a kid, you said beach volleyball was just kind of like, you just did it for fun at the beach. But at what point were you like, was it just when it clicked? Well, two things. When they announced that it was going to be on the Olympics, you were already good. You already knew you were pretty good as that goes because you had been playing it for so long. But like prior to that, how quickly, or when you would go play recreationally, was it pretty clear that you were head and shoulders above most of the other players pretty quickly, or did that take a while?
Yeah, I mean, I was always an athlete, right? And things have changed now because there's been an explosion in participation in youth sports. All right, it seems like everybody does youth sports or club this or club that. And they didn't have any of that when I was growing up. So I was an athlete, and as an athlete, you kind of played all the sports. And what I believe is right is you play a bunch of sports. It's called, you have to be willing to switch out of a sport. If you want to be an athlete, again, this is only advice for people who want to be professional athletes. Yeah. If you just want to learn volleyball, go to club volleyball and be a club volleyball player. But a lot of times as athletes, you got to find a sport which matches kind of your personality, your taste, what you like. So I played all the sports growing up, and they start to whittle down, So I retired from beach volleyball at 30. I retired from indoor volleyball at 21. I retired from basketball at 18. I retired from baseball at 12. I retired from soccer at 10. And I'll retire at skiing maybe in 2 or 3 years. All right? Every athlete retires, all right? You retired from baseball, right? Maybe a little earlier than you wanted, but everyone retires from sport. And so, you get to a point where when we played, we were always competing, and we were always, you sort of move up, and you know who the good athletes are. You know who the ones who are moving up. And so beach volleyball specifically was really cool because they had a series of tournaments in California, going from what are called novices to the opens, the professional events. And you could play in any of these tournaments against basically evenly matched competition. So if you'd never played volleyball before, you played in a novice tournament, where all people who'd never played before. Then there's A's and double A's and triple A's, and opens, right? So if you play in an A, you're playing against guys who have ranked A. They're all they could be 6 years old, they could be 12 years old. They're all, so it's good competition. Yeah. But if you win an A tournament, now you have to move up and play in the double A tournaments. So you just sort of start playing, and you start moving up, and you're going, I'm getting good. And I won a double A tournament, and they're like, well, you're able to play in the Pro Tour now. So I went to the Pro Tour, and I got smoked. Okay, the first time I played. Right?
Just you were with the same partner this whole time?
Oh, no, it's different partners as you grow. Like I was Parker Blackman in high school. I was Ryan O'Hara when we transitioned to be a pro, and John Phelps. So Adam Unger. You're friends. So you're friends and you play.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So, then you become a professional, you change. So we got in, and my first pro tournament, and we got beat 15-2, right? So then you get 10 points. Then you win a game. Right? I remember my first game I won was South Padre Island, 1988, with Owen McKibben. And then we lost 2 straight after that. Then you win more than one game. Then you eventually, in 1989, I won my first tournament. right? So you're sort of just going up this ladder of success, constantly having. And then I got the call from Karch to play. We played well, and then I took a dip, right? Because I wasn't ready. Again, I was not youngest number one player in the history of the sport, but prior to that, I was a little immature when I got there. So I had to take a step back. And we can talk about that and readjust my training, readjust my mindset, readjust my focus. Again, it's easy. It's easy to be a pro. It's easy to be a good pro. It's difficult to be the number one guy. Right? That's the switch that needs to happen, or at least I call it a switch. So that's kind of the way my career progressed. And I did in basketball too. I was good at basketball. And I played in junior high and I played in high school. Like my senior year, my high school team was really good. We were number one, top one in the state until we had some internal problems, which killed us. And we had a guy who played like 8 years in the NBA.
Wow.
Derek Strong played for the Lakers, actually. For all you history buffs out there, he came over in the Shaquille trade as the +1 to be named later.
Oh, wow.
Guy. Yeah. He played in my high school. So
That's crazy.
So that's kind of again, that's kind of, you just keep swapping sports and doing stuff and playing a bunch but some sports, but now we know more. So some sports are early adoption. Some of like women's gymnastics, you really got to start early. Vaulting sports, so like the ones where you oh my God, what's the thing on the wheels? God, I'm thinking too much.
On the wheels,
skateboarding.
Oh, the thing on the wheels.
Yeah, on the wheels. I'm getting old. So skateboarding, aerials, ski aerials, snowboarding, half pipe. Right? Apparently, there's something in your brain which allows you to flip and maintain yourself in the air.
When you're young,
you got to develop that early. What's that?
When you're young, you gotta get over that. Yeah.
No, it's not get over it. It has to develop.
Oh.
Or else you'll never have the ability to grow that in your brain.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So after 13, 14, you'll never be able to get it. So that's why everyone thinks it's, like what do they say about skateboarding? The first time you break your arm, you either go, "Ow, that hurts, I'm not doing it," or you go, "Ow, that didn't hurt so bad, I'm going to keep skateboarding." Right? So it's kind of that too. But other sports are late development sports. Like you shouldn't really play. You can't really learn volleyball till you're older because the technical skills are hard. You can't. It's hard to pass. It's hard to
the ball.
It's hard to play the sport if you're young. It takes like if you started volleyball as a junior in high school, you could become the best in the world, no problem, in a few years.
Yeah.
If you're athletic.
Yeah.
Football's got a little bit of that too. They think that you might want to start football a little bit later, like a lot later.
Yeah. Save some of the damage maybe too. Right?
Yeah, exactly. Or you're more able to take it, right? Like
you got muscle.
Look what like in baseball, right? A lot of kids get beamed by that ball, they're done, right?
Yeah,
they don't want that. They don't want to feel that again.
Yeah,
if they pick up baseball later, maybe.
Yeah, I mean that
maybe they wouldn't.
Baseball's an interesting one because it's such a. There's a lot of things that you have to know how to do. There's a bunch of different skills mixed in. You know. You could be great in defense and not be able to hit, and that's not gonna do it. So, no, that's really cool. That's
why they have the field goal in football. For all you who are wondering, if anyone wants to know where there's a field goal or an extra point, it adds an extra part of the practice. Okay, to put it in my framework, baseball, it's hard to train baseball because you got to do a lot of things. You got to practice pitching, you got to practice hitting, you got to practice bunting, you got to practice fielding, you got to practice fly balls. Like you've been in like for those of you who don't know, man, I can tell you, like baseball practices are really complicated in space constraints and time constraints, right? Yep. Right. So like if anybody interested in this, go to a ballpark early, right? Yeah. You see how they got it all sectioned off and they got screens everywhere so guys don't get hit for each other. It's not easy. Yeah. To train all like that's one of the things with a sport like baseball. Like, wait a minute, why do I got to hit and catch and field grounders? Like, you got
it's all those things.
You got to be really great at all of them, and they're completely. What does hitting have to do with fielding?
Yeah,
nothing. Yeah. Right. So that's why the games have lasted and are popular because they're designed. Mm-hmm. Okay, they're designed that way. Yeah. So any of those football leagues that get rid of that extra point, they're going to fail.
Yeah, because you need to be able to do it.
Well, no, it takes a practice time. All right, right. If you lose, it's the kick at the end which determines the Super Bowl. You got to spend a little bit of time on it, even though it's like 1% of the game. See the point?
Oh, I see
that's what I'm getting at.
Yeah.
That's what I'm getting at. It's like they're designed to be difficult, hard to practice, hard to execute. Like, yeah, you got to grab a bunch of guys who are great offensive or defensive, but like, special teams. We got these special teams, dude. Belichick writes about it. He's like, everyone's falling asleep in the meeting. It's special teams. He goes, this is critical.
Yeah.
You know,
I always love the one guy who is like, you know, the Cinderella story that made the team, and he's on special teams, and he makes just the nut that will run down this field at full speed and throw himself, and that's all he does. He's like, that's all I got. You know, I was the star quarterback in my high school, and then I became a linebacker in college because I couldn't be the quarterback anymore, and now I'm on special teams, and I am going to kill somebody if I can hit him at the end of the field.
There's a name for that guy. You know what the name is?
What?
It's called the Wedge Buster. He goes, I'm the Wedge Buster. Throw yourself at the Back when they can't do it now. They used to fold the wedge. Remember?
Yeah.
It's illegal now to have more than 2 blockers because guys were getting hurt. The Wedge Buster his job was to fly in and hit that thing full speed. Crazy guy running down field. How about the long snapper? That's your job, long snapper.
Yeah.
One guy. But you don't have a long snapper? Have you seen teams when the long snapper gets hurt? It's rare.
News.
But you don't know how to hit him because he's so. Like, you lose a long snapper, you're done. Your whole football team's just over. It's like, quit the season. Like, you can't do anything.
Yeah. Specialty.
Well, again, like these sports are designed really interestingly, really with a mind to sort of these sort of things, which I find fascinating, which is why I like talking about it, which makes it difficult, right?
Yeah. Wow.
Because, by the way, Belichick was a long snapper, and he started his career. Yes. And he got hurt as a long snapper, and then he did lacrosse in college. But then he became a special teams coach. That was where he started. Okay.
Wow, I didn't know about the lacrosse thing. That's interesting.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So
that's cool.
He did padding. He did basically video. And all coaches, God, coaching in football is all about like knowing the play. So they do these things called padding. Your first job as a football coach is to like break down film, and if you don't do it well, you don't sleep. So you have a choice: either you can figure out how to do it well and quickly, or don't sleep.
Yeah.
Those are your choices.
Yeah. Jeez.
And you go bury yourself in a vault for a year and a half, and don't see your wife, kids, son, life, humanity, anything. Football coach. Sign up, ladies and gentlemen. It's glamorous life. Doesn't everybody want to be Belichick? Super Bowl ring, hold the Lombardi trophy. Yeah.
That's, I guess, why it's so amazing to watch. But I think you have a really unique perspective on it, and I appreciate you.
That's also why, there's 4 NFL coaches that never play football. Head coaches. And that number's going to be going this way.
You think?
Yeah, because being able to, so Belichick knows, not only does he know what the other team's going to do, he knows why. Okay, so the skills it takes to play, like, I don't know how good, what being a cornerback is going to do to help you coach an NFL team. It's a totally different skill set. A lot of the skill sets you need to play these games now are becoming so specialized, and you got to bash you got to be able to bash. I'll give you a story about Gronk. Okay, he had 4 older brothers who used to beat the crap out of him, but he loved it. He thought it was fun. So getting punched and hit was happy times for him. Okay, and he's big.
Yeah.
So what's a job for a big giant guy who doesn't mind getting hit? Tight end.
Yeah.
Okay, $60 million. Go out there, people. Have your brothers beat you until you love it. That's what his brothers described. All right, so I don't know if that's the best training to be a head coach, though.
Right.
So that's what you're seeing. You're seeing that. God, it's hard, right? So Kerr, who'd never coached before, picks up the job at Golden State and wins 3 or 4, NBA titles, never having coached.
Yeah.
All right. Steve Nash was a player. He was a good player. He won an NBA title. He had a big problem in Brooklyn. It didn't work out.
Yeah.
This basketball's hard because it's hard coaching those guys, you got to be good. You have to have been a champion, like won NBA championships, and you got to know how to coach. It's a tough combo.
Yeah.
Or else they won't. That's kind of those guys don't respect you. Or they do the LeBron deal, right? They do the LeBron deal where the coach kind of is the guy who shags balls for you. LeBron's like, I'm running the team.
Yeah.
Just high post with me.
It's a unique situation too, man. There's so much to it. Well, we should do a part 2. Think of some more.
I could talk about, like I said, I could talk about it forever. I find
4.
it fascinating.
Yeah.
And I don't think most don't talk about it this way, or at least this part of it, which is why I thought maybe only a unique number of people would, but it appears maybe some people did like to hear it.
Yeah, I think it'll be good. I appreciate you, man. I appreciate you chatting with me about this. It's a fun topic, and it's just fascinating to me to watch. You know, like being a sports fan and a former athlete, recreational athlete. Watching sports is, huge. It's not like baseball is our national pastime anymore. I think just watching sports is just this universal magic that brings people together. We talked about this a little bit before about like the live event and the live sport is the magic of being in the moment. And you just had a bunch of those. And I remember watching beach volleyball and watching those Olympics and like even the culture, because I grew up on the East Coast, so that California culture for that period of time was huge. Varney glasses, the hats with the fold up front bill, the papery hats, just the whole beach volleyball thing. I remember that so clearly when it was happening. So it's really cool to hear your perspective, to be a part of that whole movement. So it was really cool, and I think people will get.
It's as fun as it's as fun as you could ever imagine.
Was that before or after Top Gun?
That you described. Top Gun was right in the middle of it.
So they capitalized on the movement.
Of course, they knew where to go.
Did you like playing in jeans? Was that your favorite equipment to wear?
Cut off jeans is some of the best. It's a strong move with the tape on the tape on the things too. Yeah, the boxing tape. Why not? Why not? It's good to go.
How was their
and they net? Yeah.
How was their technique in Top Gun? I know people always criticize the flight scenes, but I think it's very unique to have a breakdown of the volleyball scenes in Top Gun, from a technique perspective, What
you don't want to do that breakdown of the Top Gun volleyball scene with me, because first of all, so they all had body doubles because they had to, because you can't play if you don't know how to play volleyball, you can't play volleyball, and it looks ugly. They want to do tight. They want to do, so every time they're far away, that's the real guys. And every time they're up close, it's the body doubles. It's funny, and they make if you know the game too, Goose swings the ball, and he rips the net in his hand, which is illegal.
Yeah.
But he slaps Mav as if they got the point. I'm you're that's the opposite. No, you lost that point, not won the point. But that's not the point. The point is it's fun, right? But who cares, right? That's fun. They're muscular. They're young. They're playing a sport. It's outside. It's sand. They did capture. They captured perfectly how fun it is. Yeah. And also you can be competitive. Here's another thing. Volleyball people, or if you're a young kid and want to play volleyball, it's a really competitive and fun sport, and it's not that interpersonally violent. It's not contact.
Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
It's not like basketball. You're taking a shot to the nose all the time. In football, you're hitting each other.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a fun sport. It's an active sport that doesn't have any physical contact in it.
Yeah, it's fun to dive in the sand and dig and do all that stuff. Yeah, it's really fun.
Yeah. So other than that, there's not again, same thing with baseball. They're hurling baseballs at your head. Okay.
And then hitting them back at you.
Yeah, hitting back, and they're trying to spike you as you they can't anymore. Right? Before, remember they used to take you out at second base.
Yeah.
If you want to take the catcher out, go for it. Go for it. So
I have pulled a cleat of somebody's foot out of my leg, on third base.
Oh, yeah.
It's not fun. It's
the softball girls are when they don't look, we step on their feet with our cleats. I'm you guys are 14. You're already cleating kids?
That starts early.
Tough.
That starts
we want to let
early.
them know we're bringing it. Yeah. It's these softball girls, you baseball guys. It's just savages.
Let me plant my metal cleat in your knee.
Yeah, when they're not looking.
Hey, man. Who was that dirty player back in the day? The baseball guy, black and white.
Ty Cobb?
Ty Cobb, yeah. He brought that all home.
Yeah.
Yeah,
sharpen his spikes as he was warming up, looking at him. God. None of that in beach volleyball.
See,
It's
all the top
it's
athletes,
more gentlemanly game.
all the top athletes, assholes. It all comes back to.
I told you, Ty Cobb is the #1 hitter ever. He's like, I wouldn't say that. I don't say that about him because I know, but there's some. Yeah, you got to be something in baseball. Again, I'm working with that kid, and that's a challenge to him. He wants to be a nice guy.
All right,
it's not gonna. Yeah,
I appreciate it, sir. I really do. It was a really fun talk, and I learned a lot. So, thanks
my
again.
pleasure. Anytime,
All right.
anytime.
I'll put up show notes, links to all your stuff and your book, so that folks know where to find it. But I really appreciate it.
Sure, absolutely.
Thanks, Ken.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you.
I said to myself.